At 35,000 feet above the vast Pacific Ocean, Michael Jackson's private jet suddenly lost both engines, sending the plane into a terrifying freefall toward the ocean below. What happened next stunned everyone on board and saved 23 lives in a way no one could have imagined. This is the untold story of the most harrowing moment in music history, and how Michael's extraordinary calm transformed disaster into a miracle. Before we dive into this incredible tale of courage and survival that the media never covered, make sure to subscribe to Michael Jackson. Behind the legend, smash that like button, share your own story of calm in a crisis in the comments, and spread this unbelievable true story with anyone who thinks they know everything about the king of pop. On October 14, 1996, during the height of the History World Tour, Michael Jackson was flying from Tokyo to Sydney aboard his customized Boeing 707, affectionately called the King of Pop Express. The plane carried 23 people. Michael, his security detail, dancers, musicians, production crew, and flight attendants, soaring over one of the most remote parts of the Pacific Ocean. Then, at exactly 2:47 a.m. local time, the unthinkable happened. Both engines failed simultaneously. A grinding noise filled the cabin, followed by eerie silence except for the wind whistling past. The plane lurched forward and began plummeting like a stone from 35,000 feet. Panic erupted instantly. Screams filled the cabin as luggage flew through the air amid violent turbulence. Oxygen masks dropped from the ceiling, swaying wildly. Captain James Morrison, a seasoned pilot with over 20,000 flight hours, fought desperately to restart the engines while his co-pilot broadcasted a mayday call. "King of Pop Express, both engines failed. We're going down." Amid the chaos, one man stood out: Michael Jackson. While everyone else panicked, he moved calmly through the cabin, comforting terrified passengers with a gentle touch and soothing words. His serene presence was like a beacon of peace in a storm of fear. Michael went from person to person, placing a reassuring hand on their shoulders, speaking softly, "It's going to be okay. Just breathe with me." To a hyperventilating dancer, he whispered, "In and out, we're going to be fine." To a crying sound engineer, he reminded, "Remember how music can transform any moment. This is just another moment we'll transform." He helped passengers fit their oxygen masks, gathered scattered belongings, and hummed a soft melody that cut through the noise and panic. Frank Cascio, Michael's close friend on the flight, later described the surreal scene. "We were falling toward the ocean, sure we'd die, and Michael was like he was hosting a tea party. His calm was contagious. People stopped screaming and started breathing normally." In the cockpit, Captain Morrison faced a grim reality. Both engines were dead, and the plane was descending at 3,000 feet per minute. They had about 12 minutes before impact. Morrison announced over the intercom, "Prepare for emergency water landing, get into crash position." But Michael had a different plan. Instead of buckling up, he walked to the cockpit and asked to speak with the captain. Flight attendant Sarah Chun tried to stop him, but Michael smiled and said, "Trust me." Inside the cockpit, Morrison was incredulous. "Sir, you need to return to your seat. This is an emergency." Michael replied calmly, "I know, that's why I'm here. How can I help?" Then Michael asked a question that stunned everyone. "Have you tried talking to the plane? Asking it to help us?" Morrison almost dismissed it as madness, but something in Michael's calm conviction made him pause. "What do you want me to do?" he asked. "Keep trying the restart procedures," Michael said, "but let me try to connect with the aircraft." What happened next defied explanation. Michael placed his hands on the instrument panel and began humming the same gentle melody he'd been humming in the cabin. He closed his eyes and spoke softly to the plane as if it were alive. "Come on, girl. I know you're tired, but we need you. We have people who need to get home. You've carried us safely before. Just one more time, please." Co-pilot David Park later described the cockpit vibrating with an energy unlike anything mechanical. "It sounds crazy," he said, "but it felt like the plane was listening." Minutes passed, and then miraculously, the left engine sputtered. To life. Rough and irregular, but running. The terrifying descent slowed. Morrison whispered in disbelief. The left engine restarted on its own. Michael smiled and quietly said, "Thank you, girl. Now let's ask the right engine to help." Morrison restarted the right engine while Michael continued humming and speaking to the plane. 30 seconds later, the right engine roared back to life. The cockpit erupted in cheers, but Michael simply smiled and returned to his seat as if nothing extraordinary had happened. With both engines running, the captain stabilized the plane and headed for the nearest airport, Anchorage, Alaska, over 800 miles away. Passengers, overwhelmed with relief, hugged and cried. Michael remained calm, comforting those still shaken. Upon landing, emergency crews and media swarmed the airport, but Michael declined to comment on the incident. Captain Morrison's official report cited fuel contamination as the cause of engine failure, but admitted the restart was unexplained by current mechanical knowledge. Privately, he told anyone who would listen that Michael Jackson had somehow communicated with the plane and convinced it to save them. Co-pilot David Park left commercial aviation and became a flight instructor, teaching students that sometimes machines have souls, and if approached with respect and love, they might just surprise you. Frank Cassio wrote in his memoir that the incident revealed Michael's deep spiritual connection to the world. He didn't see the plane as a machine, but as a living being on their journey. When he talked to it, he was connecting through love and music. Flight attendant Sarah Chun later became a motivational speaker, sharing how Michael's perfect peace in the face of death transformed everyone on board. Michael rarely spoke publicly about the event, but in a private interview he explained, "Music taught me that everything in the universe is connected by vibration, energy, and love. When you approach anything, a person, an animal, a machine, with genuine love and respect, it responds. The plane didn't save us. Love saved us. The plane was just the instrument." Aviation experts remain baffled by the technical aspects of the incident. Engines failing due to fuel contamination don't simply restart on their own after minutes of silence. But for the 23 survivors, the explanation didn't matter. What mattered was witnessing a man whose supernatural calm and faith turned certain death into a miracle. The story quietly spread among pilots and aviation professionals, becoming a legend whispered in crew lounges and flight schools. The night. Michael Jackson's spiritual connection and belief in universal love kept a dying plane flying long enough to save everyone aboard. The Boeing 707 was retired shortly after, but Captain Morrison carried a photo of Michael in his flight bag every day, calling it his guardian angel reminder. Every October 14th until Michael's passing, survivors received a handwritten note from him. "Thank you for letting me share that moment of faith with you. Love, MJ." The plane that nearly became their tomb instead became proof of Michael Jackson's lifelong belief. Love, faith, and music can overcome any obstacle, transform any situation, and even keep a failing aircraft aloft. If this incredible story of courage, faith, and mystery moved you, subscribe to Michael Jackson. Behind the Legend, hit the like button, share your own story of calm in crisis below, and spread this remarkable tale with everyone who believes in the power of love to conquer the impossible. There are many more hidden stories about Michael's extraordinary spiritual gifts waiting to be told. Keep the legend alive.